with our series. Okay, we are continuing with our series. You cannot serve God and mammon. We hear that all the time. You hear it. If you're a Christian, good morning, Sarah. If you're a Christian, you've heard that before. Okay, Jesus said you cannot serve God and mammon. But what is he really talking about? Okay, well, we're not Christian based. This is not a church thing. This is not a Christian thing. Okay, but it's a spirit thing because you are the spirit that lives in here. You're not your body, you're not your name, you're that spirit that lives in here. Okay, and because you're that spirit that lives in there, you need to know that it has power over everything in your life. You have power over everything. Okay, you have dominion over every living thing, but you have dominion from in here. Okay, it doesn't mean you force things to happen, it means you just attract things. Okay, attract who you are, basically. Good morning. Good morning. A very good morning to you too. There you go, Sarah. There you go, Sarah. Okay. So, you know, when we get deeper into this and we take a deep dive into this, what we find is we're really talking, okay, and Jesus was really talking about the body and the spirit, okay? Because your body is the physical interface into the physical world, okay? And what happens is you start to believe that you're just the body. You start to believe that this is all you are, is this physical thing that you see in the mirror. Okay, and that's where the difficulty begins. Okay, so what is mammon? Okay, it's not money itself. Okay, so now in these modern times, when you hear this expression, okay, you hear people refer to it as money. Oh, money's no good. You cannot serve money and God. Can't have money. Of course you can have money. If you start believing that, what happens is you go into limitation. Okay, now earlier in time, okay, years and years ago, the church started doing this. Okay, and well, churches, okay, more than one church, but the churches started doing this because they needed donations and they were telling people that, well, you have to give all your riches to the church, give all your money to the church, and then, this was your entry way into heaven. And so, people fell for it. People did that. Okay. But that's not really what it means. So we're going to get to the heart of it, the root of it. Okay. So money is a tool. So if you have money, okay, and this is why Jesus said, seek first the kingdom and all else will be added. Okay, because money is added. Material things are added. Your home is added. Your car is added. Your relationship is added. Everything is added unto you when you seek this one first. Okay. Okay, you're not your body, you're not your name, you're that spirit that lives in here. You're a spiritual being. Okay? So what happens is money becomes a master when you put your faith in it, when you put your trust in it. Okay? So if you're more in tune with, say, the financial system or material things, or thank you, B. You're so sweet. Thank you so much. Good morning. When you're more in tune with those things and you're not in tune with the spiritual things, then you have taken your faith and you have put it in an inanimate object, okay, whatever that is, okay. And you see this, you see people, they handle credit cards like this, they worship the darn thing, right? And they, and they go like that, right? It's not a sacred object, it's a piece of plastic, okay. It's a part of a system. Okay, so within this system, okay, there are rules that govern the physical world, but there are rules that govern the spiritual world. Okay, ask, believe, receive. Okay, this governs the spiritual. Why? Because, well, you can ask, and if you believe in what you're asking, you will receive it. And sometimes it's like by the weirdest circumstances, right? You don't even think about it. You just think about what you want, and all of a sudden it comes and you go, whoa, because it comes in the way you least expect it. And this is why they say the how is always God's job. You can say God, you can say source, you can say universe, you can say infinite intelligence, whatever, okay? But taking a look at mammon now, let's take a look at mammon, especially for you Christians. You guys need to understand this. Okay, so the root is aman. Okay, it's a Semitic root. It's a Semitic word. It came from Semitic roots. And then it turned into Jesus's language. Okay, so it was in Aramaic as Mammona. Okay, and then Mammonas in Greek, and then in English, Mammon. And that's the way it kind of came down through time. But the church started using it for their benefit. Okay, and we don't know exactly what church, but it was probably Roman Catholic because they were a great influence on all other Christian churches. They're called the Mother Church. Now, the reason why we go over all of this stuff, especially for you spiritual people, okay, is because you've been lied to on a mass scale. Okay, everyone. We have been presented with this artificial reality, okay, that is these comprised of these systems of things, which is not necessarily true. Okay. Good morning, Jay. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for being here. Jay is our moderator. So there's so many things. Okay, it's not just one thing. I'm not here to call out the system. Okay, because you don't need to call out the system. Okay, when Jesus was teaching these things, he was teaching these things to people so that they would have more faith in here than out here. Okay, that's basically the bottom line. And this is what I'm teaching. Okay, so I'm teaching like, okay, something is fake out here, right? Or something is synthetic out here, or that we're being lied to out here. Okay, so you know that. That's a step in the right direction. Okay. But now that you know that, okay, you can focus on in here and bring it to you. Christians say that you can be in the world and not of the world. What does that mean? Well, that means that you can be within the system and you can enjoy anything that you're supposed to enjoy in life, okay, which means anything. So relationships, career, money, material possessions, okay? But the message was to focus in here, okay? And the reason is because you attract everything into your world, okay? So now, manifestation is not magic, okay? I must say that, okay? So manifestation is not magic. It's neural alignment, repetition, and embodiment. That's what manifestation is, okay? It's a mindset. It's mental training. It's mental discipline. If you develop this, manifestation is automatic. It's automatic. Okay, it keeps happening in my life whether I want it or not. It keeps happening in your life whether you want it or not. You just don't see it that way yet. Okay, but hopefully I'm removing the blinders. Okay, human blinders look like this. Okay, horse blinders look like this. Okay, but human blinders are like this, and guess what? They go like this, and then you see the truth, and then slowly they go back because we have a calendar, we have a clock, we have a schedule. People have jobs, they work, right? So when you're working, your mind is on your work, hopefully, right? And then when you go home, maybe you're cooking dinner for the kids, or you have your time with your spouse, or whatever it is, your significant other. But these things become our reality. Okay? So society has, this thing called societal hypnosis. Okay, it's this matrix of sorts that has been constructed with several systems. Okay, many systems. Okay, thank you. Hey, Maria. Good morning, Maria. Nice to see you. Welcome back. Thank you, thank you. Hey, Coco. Eduardo, good morning. So these things in the world that you see, right? That you think are bigger than you, that make you feel small. The key word is feel small, okay? If something can make you feel small and keep you feeling small, they can control you. And how is that done? That's done through doubt and fear. Okay? Doubt and fear. Now, we've come to a pretty interesting juncture in society, okay, where we have these things, right? We have these, okay, and what did these do to us? Okay, well, it makes us look at others and go, wow, they have all this stuff and I don't have anything, right? Okay, a whole wide range of emotions. Okay, but it plays with our emotions because why? Because we scroll, right? And we're like, oh wow, okay, the dopamine hit, right? All of that. Okay. But pretty soon we start feeling less than, right? Because well, he has more than me, she has more than me. I can look at a million people that have more than me. I look at the sheiks in Dubai and I'm like, whoa, they have all kinds of stuff, right? Okay. But this is where we get into comparisons. When you see something, you automatically analyze it. Okay. And we talk about humans having negativity bias. So you automatically look for the bad stuff. You automatically think the bad stuff first. And then what happens? Well, when you think it enough, it becomes a belief in your subconscious. Then what happens? Well, then it repeats. Okay? It's in your subconscious, it starts to repeat. Now, your three states of awareness is conscious, subconscious, and superconscious. Okay? When something is in your subconscious, it becomes a program. If you want to understand the human being like a computer, the conscious mind, which only thinks 5% of your life, okay, but it deals with 5% of your life. It makes decisions. It makes conscious decisions. Then it goes into your subconscious. Okay, so this conscious mind would be your processor. This would be where the RAM is stored. Okay, this would be your operating system. Okay, the subconscious is going to be where the programs are stored, the hard drive. Okay, this is your hard drive, your subconscious. All of your memories are stored there. Okay, everything you've ever said, anything someone else has ever said. Okay, and these things are there, and psychologists and people like that get these things out of people through hypnosis, because you can be hypnotized and fully relaxed, and then you go back into your memory and you can pull things out of your memory. Okay, I don't do that kind of work, but I can tell you that if you start training with affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization, eventually you just ask yourself questions and your subconscious will answer. It's obligated to answer. The superconscious is also obligated to answer. Okay, so the subconscious is where you store your programs. What is the superconscious? Well, the superconscious is God or source or universe or whatever you think that is. Okay? Infinite intelligence. And we're all plugged in there. We're all one. We're all one awareness in here. Okay? So it's really important. A lot of people ask me, because I make references to the Christian Bible only because it refers to in here. It refers to the kingdom in here. And the kingdom in here is responsible for bringing you everything. Okay, because you are the king or queen of your kingdom. Okay, and it's from there that you get everything, not out here. There is no out here, out here. There is no out there, out there. The only thing out there is nature and things from someone else's in here. And I always say, if they can, you can. Okay, if they can create something, they can invent something, you can invent something. Okay, so you're just as capable, is what I'm saying. If you really want to see a miracle, go in the bathroom, turn on the light, and look in the mirror. That's your miracle. Okay? Ralph Waldo Emerson said something very interesting. He said, poverty is the result of feeling poor. Okay? Feeling is the key word. Okay? If you feel poor, or if you feel less than, or if somebody makes you feel bad, it goes in your subconscious very quickly because it's feeling. Okay, the same way as if you're trying to manifest something, you have to be excited about it. You have to put, feeling into it so that it can come to fruition. Okay, it's the same thing. It's just in a negative way. Now, when you add, the fact that humans have negativity bias, okay, that's even worse. Okay, because those things happen quicker. The negative happens quicker. It's not that human beings are bad. It's survival. It's you know, it's how we evolve. It's how we survive. Okay, it's not always necessary in the modern world, but if you're living somewhere and there's a bear in the woods, you want to be on guard. You want to be on the watch for things like that. Okay, so we have this. It's part of evolution. We have this in us. Now, if you're a female, it's more so, right? Because if you're a female, you're engineered to be a mama bear, and you have to take care of baby bears. And if that's the case, you have to really be talented, okay? Because, like I say, you have to be able to talk on the phone, cook dinner, and watch baby all at the same time, okay? If you're outdoors, you're always alert, right? Because you're watching your babies. Okay, so then women have this propensity to undergo these multiple negative emotions, and then it goes into the subconscious, and then it replays, it repeats, and then this is why we have emotional crises, ladies, right? And then you get to the point where you can't handle it anymore, and then a good cry, and then you can start over again, right? Because you're purging when you cry. See, most men don't understand that. Most men think something's really wrong. They think something hurts, but yeah, it's just emotional purging. Okay, and it's necessary. It's not a bad thing. Guys, if your woman is crying, okay, it's a good thing. Let her purge, comfort her, and tell her it's okay, tell her it's all right, and allow her to purge. But manifestation is neural alignment. What are we talking about? Well, we're talking about the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious in alignment. Okay, when it's in alignment, when they all agree, when they all work together, okay, you can manifest all kinds of stuff. Here, my clients are normally professionals, but I have everyday clients. As a matter of fact, Jay, we're gonna put up that half hour thing, right? So we're gonna it's just for this platform, you guys, okay? Sorry, we have 7 platforms, and yeah, let me just talk about the TikTok special. I hope I don't get limited by the other algorithms. Hey, Costas, good morning. Nice to have you. Nice to see you, brother. So, so yeah, so for the TikTok, so here's what we did. I've been having a lot of people message me on over here on TikTok, and asking me about this, that, and the other thing, and mostly they're asking about vocalization because it takes away all this negativity, it takes away anxiety, it takes away all that stuff. And this guy that I had the other day, he came to us from here, and he said, "Wow, I haven't felt this good in months," and I was like, "Oh, good." But I mean, these are the things that are really rewarding for me when I hear my clients say these things. But anyway, so for you guys, what we're gonna do is we've created a half-hour special for you guys. If anybody wants, just all you got to do is message me, okay? Or go to the link in the bio. You know how that goes, right? So you can go to my bio, and you can fill out the bio, and then just you can put half-hour offer, and I'll know what it is. Okay, so that's it right there. Okay, and it's affordable. So it's in a package, and the reason why it's in a package or a group is because you can't just do one session and then it's all good. It takes about 3 to 4 till you really feel better and you understand how it works and stuff, and it's affordable, so it's much less than my professional rate. So anyway, yeah, and you can just go to my you can just apply to my inbox, okay, and we'll get that set for you guys. Anyway, so more about God and Mammon and the physical and spiritual. The spiritual is in charge of the physical. Your spirit in here is in charge of your body. Right now, I'm playing with my pen, and my spirit is telling me, okay, play with the pen. Okay, so it has power over the physical. And all you need to do to master this manifestation thing is understand that, first of all, everything in your world, everything out here, is a result of everything you felt and thought in here. Okay? Because when you feel good, you get good stuff. When you feel bad, you push it away like this with vibration. Okay? But it's not rocket science. It's not, it's not something that, oh, I have to master this thing. You don't really have to master it. You have to just do it in repetition. Just do it for a while. Okay? And it will become mastery itself. It's just repetition. It's just in the subconscious. Okay? So what's the difference between the spirit and the physical and all that stuff? Well, we always reference it with the right hemisphere of the brain being the spiritual side, and the left hemisphere of the brain, where logic lives and ego lives, as the part you got to get away from. Why? Because the ego just compels you to do these things, and the ego thinks it knows best. And what you're doing is you're becoming more anchored in the system. You're becoming more anchored in the physical world. You're becoming more anchored in the illusion. And the reason why it's an illusion is because it's man-made. Okay, it's a man-made system. It's there to serve certain people. Okay, it serves corporations. It serves everybody that was there before you, basically. Because if you were there a long, long time ago, you would have made the system, and then the generations after you and your family would be in charge, right? Okay, but just know that we all have an even playing field, but it's in here, okay? So the ego is the false self. It's driven by fear and separation. Okay, don't you notice on social media how everybody wants to make you fear? Okay, whether they're selling you a product, right? Hurry up, it's the last one or whatever, that kind of thing, right? And then oh wow, I need to do this now, right? Okay, or separation, oh, our group over here is better than your group over there, or this political party is better than this one over here, or this government policy is better than this over here, that kind of thing, right? And then you take sides. You analyze it, okay, left brain, and you look at these things and you go, oh, okay, well, there's not enough. Okay, so that's fear. Limitation. Okay, you start to see the world like this. You start to look at everything black and white. Then you start to live in survival mode. Then you start to live in fear. Then you start to live in limitation and lack, because there's not enough. Then you need to compete. So all of those actions, all of those things are left brain things. Okay, left brain actions. Okay, Mammon is the ego's preferred source of security. Okay, an identity. It identifies, I am this, I am that. I am not good enough. I need to hustle. I need to survive. I need to get more. I need. And when you think need, now you've done this. Okay? Because in here, okay, there's abundance. On the right brain thinking, it's abundant. It's creativity. It says, no, we can create more. Okay? There's more. We can create. You're a co-creator with the divine, however you believe. Okay? So you can create. You're a co-creator. You're not God, okay, but you are an extension of God. You are the microcosm of the macrocosm. Okay, you're the little portion of energy of the greater energy. You can look at it that way. Everything is energy in the universe. Okay, so money isn't the problem with God and Mammon, okay, or spirit and Mammon, however you want to say it. Money is not the problem. Money is a neutral thing. It's a tool. It's a unit of measure. It's the identity that's attached to the money. It's people that only think about money. It's people that put their faith in money. I worked with this guy one time. He was a comedian, and he told me, he said, it's about money or it's about nothing. And I was like, wow, that's really sad. It's sad that he thought that way because he believes that, and it's okay. I mean, everybody's entitled to their beliefs, right? And I respect it. I didn't say anything, you know, I didn't say anything at all. But when you think like that, you are detached spiritually. Okay. So if the internal program is based in ego, okay, the left hemisphere of the brain, then mammon becomes the external currency and not the spirit. Okay? It's part of the world system. Okay, or the systems of things. Okay, so we have the medical industrial complex, we have the media industrial complex. We have all of these, the financial industrial complex. Okay, so we have all of these systems of things. And this is why Jesus said, I will be with you until the end of the world. And in the original text, it says, I will be with you until the end of these systems of things. And that's what he was talking about. He was talking about when you put your faith in God, in the Spirit, okay, in here, okay, not out here, then you're not detached from Spirit. You're not detached from God, however you want to look at that, whatever name you want to put on the superconscious. Okay? Because the world system runs on fear. It runs on lack, not having enough, right? Go now, get it now, buy it now. It's running out. Time's running out, right? You got to make that sale. Time's running out. It's limited time. That kind of thing. And then what happens? Well, then you start panicking. You start operating out of fear. You start living out of fear. One of my clients, at the top of her career, she's at the top of her career right now. She's an attorney at one of the biggest entities in Hawaii. And she told me, she said, my whole life I've been achieving out of fear. I've been working out of fear because I don't want to be poor. See, she told me that. She comes from a poor family. And they got money together and they sent her to college and she got some scholarships. And then she had an outstanding career, a amazing career. But it was driven by fear, okay? That's mammon. It was being driven by mammon. It's the world system. So the world system runs on not having enough and not being enough, the fear of not being enough. Costas, also the leaders of the countries are based on fear. Well, they fear people into things. Yeah, politics fears people into things. You're right, Costas. Yeah. So what's the alternative? Okay, an entirely different operating system. In here, the spirit. Okay, your connection to the divine, if you want to call it divine, God, Jesus Christ, whatever you want to call it. Okay, Jesus didn't start a religion. Okay, he introduced a new reality for human consciousness. That's what he did. Most relationships are based on fear. I can't agree with that. No. If you're in a relationship and you're fearing, you're probably, I mean, you're a guy, Costas. So if you're fearing like that, if that's your experience, then you probably think that the woman is gonna leave you, kind of thing. Maybe she's really hot. Okay, trust me, I've been there, and that's not the case. See what happens, Costas, when you feel in that way. What you do subconsciously, you start creating actions out of fear, and what happens is she eventually leaves you because women sense fear. Okay, because they take care of babies or because they're able to have babies. Okay, they have what we refer to as women's intuition. Okay, so they can sense fear, they can sense danger, and when you start fearing the face of change, we're attuned. Well, some of us, and some of us are under societal hypnosis. But Costas, yeah, when you start fearing, okay, women sense those things, and you start creating actions that are based in fear, and you start pushing her away like that. Okay, so so when this new reality of human consciousness was described by Jesus, okay, when he was talking about the kingdom within, okay, it's because humans are prone to negativity bias. Okay, it's because we're naturally steered towards negativity. And in that process, you start becoming programmed into negativity in your subconscious. This is where we get the wars from. This is where we get greed from. This is where we get anger from. This is where we get violence from. Okay, and pretty soon things get out of hand. This is where we get oppression from. Okay, so right now, in a mother's intuition, no, it's female's intuition. All females have that, not just mothers, but it's because they're engineered to be mama bears. So right now in Iran, look at what's happening on the world stage right now. Okay, when you keep, pushing people down, pushing people down, pushing people down, you can only do that for so long. Okay, before they start waking up. And all it takes is a few people to wake up. And that's why I'm here. I'm here to wake you up. Okay, but all it takes is a few people. And this is a part of consciousness right now. This is a part of the world consciousness. The world is waking up. Okay, I'm just doing my part. I'm just here for an hour in the mornings doing my part. Okay, but you see the people in Iran. They've been suppressed for a long time. Okay, they're oppressed. And now they're breaking out of it. Why? Because you can only push something down or hold something down for so long, okay, especially if they're a human being. Why? Because they have this spirit too. Okay? Everyone has it. So you can't keep someone like that. You cannot rule over someone in that way and expect it to last forever. There's going to be the other side, because everything is in cycles. Everything is in cycles. Okay, it's the universal law of rhythm, and this is what we went over, I think, about 2 weeks ago. Okay, and I taught you about the universal law of rhythm. Okay, and once you observe the rhythm, okay, things become more, let's say, easily explainable. Okay, because you see it and you go, oh, okay, money comes in a certain time, right? Money goes out a certain time. The moon goes full for a certain, right? Everything is in cycles. Everything has a rhythm in life. Okay, so the internal state of being that you possess is not worry, fear, irritation, anger, all of those emotions. Those are negative emotions. Your default is love. Your default is God's energy, the Creator's energy. Okay, the rest is man's doing, and this is why God and Mammon. Okay. But it's when you buy into the material world and you buy into the systems and you go, okay, that's the thing. I trust that. So whether you're trusting the government, the medical industrial complex, whatever it is that you're putting your faith in, besides what's in here, that's Mammon. Because the kingdom of God is within you. Okay? So the world of Mammon, right? The left brain activities, fear and security, control and accumulation. Okay, more. Your part is tremendously valuable. Oh, thank you, Sarah. The country you're speaking of is at boiling point. Yeah, that's why I'm mentioning it. It's a good example. Iran is a good example for you to look at. Okay, because you can't keep people down. Everyone is a spiritual being. Okay, everyone has God's power in here. And you're no different. You're the same. Okay, so these things cannot be oppressed for long. Now, the world of Mammon, okay, these are left brain things. Okay, fear and security, control and accumulation. external rank and hierarchy. Okay, so and so is here, I'm over here, and they make you feel less than. This is everything. This is government. This is religion. Okay, the same people that have brought you the banking system, the same people that have brought you, you know, business, okay, corporations, are the same people that brought you religion. Same. There's no difference. What's your opinion about Venezuela? Well, they're going to hopefully go under positive change. They're oppressed as well. And you notice this with all these governments where they oppress their people, dictatorships. They all go through that. People always rebel. But the left brain, fear and security, control and accumulation, external rank and hierarchy, okay? People that are above people, separation and completion, domination, those are all left brain activities. And this is what makes up Mammon. So when you put your faith in these things, okay, it's left brain activity, but when you put your faith in these things, it becomes Mammon. The kingdom of God runs on trust and abundance, generosity and release, okay, inner worth and union, connection and love and presence, okay, and creativity. Creativity is in the right hemisphere of the brain. This is why Jesus sits at the right hand of the Father. Okay, creativity, intuition, inner guidance. Intuition is inner guidance. If you trust your intuition more, your life will get better automatically. Automatically. Okay, God is in the right hemisphere of your brain. So when you start thinking of it like this, you go, oh, every human being's like this? Yeah, but not every human being knows what I'm telling you. Now you know. And now that you know, you can become empowered. Okay? And with knowledge comes responsibility. So when you know, you're responsible to your knowledge. Okay? So you can't go blaming the system. You don't have to blame the system. What are your opinion about the actions of Trump in Venezuela? So this is not political. I'm not political in that sense. This is about empowerment, self-empowerment. This is about God and Mammon. It's not about politics. Sorry, Costas. You have to message me if you want my opinion on that. I'm like everybody else. I have an opinion, but that's not what I'm here for. Okay, the two voices of security. So I made notes. So you see me looking over there. I made notes. The two voices of security. Okay, so ego versus spirit, God versus Mammon. Okay, the ego, okay, which is the physical world, okay, says I'm safe when I control, accumulate, and protect my resources. Okay, like when people, say, okay, I'm going to put all my money in the bank because that's security, because that's going to save me, because that's going to help me, right? My question is, what about God? What about God? Okay, that's the ego doing that. People that do that, okay, to the extent where they believe in that, okay, are creating that Mammon belief, okay? You would like to grow in this area? It's easy. Just practice giving. It goes into your subconscious, then it becomes a habit. There you go. Thank you, user. The spirit, on the other hand, okay, God versus Mammon. That's Mammon. The spirit, God, okay? That side says, I am safe because I am connected to the source of all life in here. You're not your body. You're not your name. You're that spirit that lives in here. That's connected to the Creator. Okay? This will feed you. This will clothe you. This will bring you customers. This will keep you employed, okay? But you need to trust in it. If you see yourself as just a body, a physical body with nothing special to it, or, I'm just a person, right? If you see yourself like that, you are disempowering yourself. You are a spiritual being. You have power. You have power. When entities make you feel small, they make you feel like you don't matter. They make you feel like you're no big thing. They have won. Why? Because now they have made you anchor yourself into the physical world. They have made you rely on the physical stuff. And this is why they don't empower you. This is why you don't hear your government saying, well, you need to affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. They don't tell you about these things. Because then you don't need them. You wouldn't need religion if religion taught this knowledge, you would leave religion. Why? Well, because you wouldn't need religion. Okay, Jesus wasn't about religion. He was a teacher. He was teaching people, go in here, go into the kingdom. Liberation begins with a fundamental shift in perception. This is why they say, change your mind, change your life. This is why they say that. When you change your perception, okay, let's say it another way. When you shift your paradigm, okay, the way you see things, you always hear that, right? Okay, we need to do a paradigm shift. We need to shift our paradigm. But they don't explain it to you. Okay? It's that kaleidoscope, right? Let's click the kaleidoscope a little bit. And then it looks different, right? That's how your perception works. All you need to do is adjust it a little bit. Okay, you don't need to get a whole new perception. You don't need a new paradigm. You need to modify your paradigm, your existing paradigm. Change the bad parts of your attitude. Change the limited parts of your thinking. Change the parts of you or those beliefs in you that don't serve you. Allow toxic thoughts to leave, okay? Or prevent toxic thoughts from entering your mind, entering your subconscious. Protect your subconscious. That's what your conscious mind is for. In addition to making decisions, your conscious mind is the sentry. It's the guard. It's the guard that stands watch over your subconscious mind. Because when you get a thought, let's say you get a limited thought or a negative thought or an ugly thought, you can say, nope, not gonna touch it. And you can allow it to leave. You say no, nope. Or you can say stop. And then you focus on something else. That's refocusing. You refocus. So living in kingdom consciousness. Whoa, what is that? Well, the kingdom is in here. This is where your power is. Okay? So you want to come from your inner self. Okay? Your deeper self, which is connected to your higher self, which will give you everything you need. Which is why when you pray, if you believe in what you're praying, your prayers get answered. So what we're really talking about is a person whose security is no longer tied to the world, but it's grounded in your energy, in your spirit, in the divine. Whether you call it source, whether you call it spirit, whether you call it universe, whether you call it God, whatever you call it. We are all one awareness. We are all aware. All human beings. Oh, I'm glad you need to hear this. Great. I am happy. Hey, Mary, good morning. So this is what kingdom consciousness is, the kingdom within, right? I'm writing a small book on it. It's not a huge book, but it'll be available soon. And it's going to be free for you guys, okay? Because you need to understand this. You need to practice this. Okay, affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. And the vocalization exercise breaks people out of the hypnosis. Because when you use your voice, it breaks the spell. It breaks the spell. You don't understand what the spell is until you're set free from it. Okay, but the spell is that paradigm, or let's call it the matrix if you want to call it a matrix. Okay, it is a matrix of sorts, okay, but it's created by the physical world. It's created by the calendar, by the clock, by the job you have, by the family you have, by all of these things. And you're just really running by your subconscious mind 95% of the day. Okay, 95%. And what happens? Well, you start relying on the calendar. You start relying on the clock. You forget that you're a spiritual being. You forget that you have power in here. So you're stuck on the physical stuff. You're stuck into the world. That's what Mammon is. Mammon is not just money. Mammon is any exterior entity, any exterior thing, inanimate object, anything that you become anchored to. So where is your trust anchored? You know, have you ever thought of it that way? Where is your trust anchored? Is your trust anchored in God in here? Okay. The kingdom is within. Or are you anchored to the bank? Or are you anchored to the corporation? Or are you anchored to, I don't know, something out there? Okay. It's important to understand that you cannot serve two security bases, two bases of security. You cannot have security in the spiritual world and then at the same time have security in the material world or in the physical world. It's not necessarily about money. Okay? Love you. How? How what? You can ask me a question. I'll answer you. Go ahead. If you place your faith in the bank or in the corporation or in the job title or in the job, you're not placing your faith in here. You're not having faith in yourself. If you don't have faith in yourself, you don't have faith in God. Why? Because God lives in here. Very simple. You can't love God and Mammon. Yeah, well, it's not necessarily love, Jay. It's what you put your trust in. You can't trust both because you can't have both as your anchor. You have to have one or the other. So either you believe in the physical world and you trust in the physical world and in the banks, the corporation, the job, all of that, or you trust in God, in the spirit. And that will bring you everything. God brings me everything. But first, I had to believe. Okay, so the formula is ask, believe, receive. When you ask and you believe in your asking, then you receive. How do you access the kingdom of heaven? It's within you. You are the kingdom of heaven inside. Okay? So affirmations help. Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. Okay? Meditate. Love you. Just meditate. Close your distractors. Close your eyes. Okay? And ask in here. Seek in here. When you seek, you will find, but you seek in here. That's what Jesus was talking about. Okay? In here. Can God remove my cancer without operation? If it has gone that far, then you need to follow up with your doctor. You need to see what your doctor says. But let your doctor handle the illness, and you have to focus on wellness. You have to focus on the things that make you well. Let your doctor focus on the illness. So what we're really talking about is a reality consciousness. Okay? You cannot serve God and Mammon is a statement of reality consciousness. What reality are you going to align yourself with or believe in? Are you going to believe in the physical world, the corporations, the calendar, the clock, all of those things? Or are you going to believe in here? You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Don't focus on cancer. Don't focus on things like that. Focus on good stuff. So it's very important. The vocalization offer we have, we have the vocalization offer for any of you guys. All you need to do, and it's only for TikTok. Okay, sorry you other guys, but it's only for TikTok. But you guys can always go to the link in my bio, or you can also just go to my inbox, either one. And what we do, what's the easiest way to give up addiction? Fast from it. Just stop it. Just stop it. There's a lot of physical withdrawal that you might have to go through, but just stop it. Just don't do it. So yeah, if you guys go to my inbox, you guys can sign up, or just go to the link in my bio. And then when you fill out the submission form, just say 30-minute special or 30-minute TikTok special. So the power, tomorrow we start a new series. So this week has been about God and Mammon. Okay, but we're relating it to manifestation. Why? Because when you're cloudy here, when you have anxiety, okay, all the negative emotions, worry, are you worrying about something? Okay, people get into the worry habit. The subconscious makes you worry. It repeats worry. Your subconscious goes, oh, we're worrying? Okay, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to worry. And your subconscious will worry. It'll create a loop. Okay, it's a feedback loop. Look it up. It's a thing, feedback loop. Okay, and what happens is it goes into worry, and then you start worrying about all kinds of stuff. Your amygdala in your brain will trigger the fight or flight syndrome. Okay, cortisol levels go up, right? And then this happens. It starts giving you negative what ifs. What if this happens? What if that happens? What if this happens? What if that happens? And you start worrying about all kinds of stuff, and it gets worse. Why? Because you're training your subconscious to worry. If you don't want to worry, just say stop. Just say stop. When you say stop, you switch your thinking to something else, and it won't go into your subconscious. But you have to make that conscious effort. Okay, the subconscious is when your body learns how to do something better than you, or better than your conscious mind. And when that happens, your body starts going into that program. Your body starts doing those things. It's from your subconscious. So we call it subconscious. Some people call it the unconscious. Okay, and when that happens, you do it unconsciously. There's so many people out there that are just running on autopilot, out of habit. They're like robots. They've been programmed. And people don't realize that they've been programmed until we take them out. When you do the vocalization exercise for at least 1 month, at least 4 sessions, when you do that, you go, oh my God, I didn't know it was that bad. And your friends don't know. You know, so many of my clients, even Sarah's my client. Even Sarah, she tried to explain this to one of her friends, and they could not grasp it. Why? Because the societal hypnosis is so strong. So when you explain these things to people, they think you're crazy. They go, oh no, this is crazy. That's crazy. Why? Because it's of the physical world. It's not of the spiritual world. It's not in here. It's out here. But the only way to change what's out here, the circumstances out here in your life, is to change in here. Make different decisions with your conscious mind. When you do it in repetition, it goes into your subconscious. When it goes into your subconscious, it begins to repeat and your life gets better. Okay, so affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. If you take my name and you put it in any browser, any AI, okay, and just put teaching method after my name, everything will pop up. Okay, everything will pop up. There's no offer today. There's no course. I don't have a course. I don't have a course for you, but I'm doing these lives so that you guys can understand these things, so you can wake up out of your hypnosis. And when I first heard this over 20 years ago, I heard this. Somebody called it societal hypnosis, and I was going, what? What are they talking about? And eventually, it happened. Eventually, the doors opened. You know, the curtain lifted, however you want to say, the veil lifted, however you want to say that. And then I go, oh, wow, I see it. But I didn't see it before. I stopped drinking alcohol and smoking all by myself. Yeah. Yep, I did too. I prayed and read about it, read a lot about it. 3 years. Good job. Congratulations. Love you. Amazing. Yes, it's very amazing. Sarah. Oh, that's my client, Sarah, right there. She's a client. This journey is the most exciting journey of life. Yes, it is. It really is. It really is. Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you. So I have a client in 2 minutes, but I just wanted to wrap up the series. So this is the end of the series. And I just wanted to wrap this up by saying that the kingdom is within. When you trust inside, or let's say it another way, when you trust yourself, okay? When you love and trust yourself, then the intuition gets stronger. When you start to trust in the intuition, you're trusting in here, in the kingdom, and you're trusting in God, and God will guide you. That will be your guide. Okay, affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization, and prayer, and keep that communication open. Okay? You're very welcome. You're very welcome, Maria. Thank you, Jay, for joining us. Thank you, guys. Okay, so I need to get to clients, but yeah, love you guys. Thank you for being here. Take care. And we're going to end our streaming on